Hi everybody, I finally found a few minutes to make my long-awaited video on how to make a bowl for your mealworms to feed to your reptiles. I found that I had a problem when I first started feeding mealworms to my geckos. Anything I used really didn't work because if they don't eat the mealworms right away, the mealworms will crawl out of the bowl because they can crawl really well, and you can see that they're quite active. Um, and if you're using substrate, any kind of substrate in your cage, they will burrow inside the substrate, and there's a big chance that if your gecko is hunting them, they will eat some of the substrate as well, and it gets impacted, and then you'll have all kinds of problems. So I found that anything I used from the pet store, I had the same problem. And if you're the kind of person who feeds the worms to the geckos and you can't physically stay there and watch them eat them, then it's a problem. And even if you're using paper towel too as a substrate, I find that they crawl under the paper towel, and it's just a lot harder for the geckos to find the worms. So what I did was I found aluminum pie plates from Dollarama. This seems to be a medium-sized one. You can probably find the smaller ones. They didn't have them at my dollar store, but you can probably find the smaller ones for juvenile crested geckos and leopard geckos as well. So what I did basically is, this is the before, what it looks like, and then the after. What I did was I just bent the inside edge towards the inside of the bowl to make kind of like a lip so they can't crawl out, and it's working extremely well. I haven't had one mealworm that has managed to escape or crawl out. Anything else that looks like this would work, either an ashtray or a ceramic bowl with a lip going towards the inside of the bowl. So I'm going to take this. I'll show you how it works. I'm gonna give this to my leopard gecko, who's like she's really hungry this morning, or we don't know if it's a boy or a girl yet. But I'm just gonna put this over here, and usually I try to put a couple of rocks around the edges just to give her easier access to the bowl, to make her climb into the bowl better, kind of like a little stairs. And she's going to find them usually she finds them in a couple of seconds, because I find that if the worms are really active, they make kind of like a noise against the aluminum, and she finds them right away. Right now she's just watching I think she's watching my shadow. Oh, there. She found them. So yeah, see? Very easy. Even with the first day that I put them in there and I started using this bowl, she found them like within 5 minutes. He or she is pretty smart, see? Just a very large appetite. Or he. We call it Crosby. We name them after hockey players. We're Habs fans. So it works for leopard geckos. See, she's really chowing down on them. The worms are especially active like when you gut load them, and I find it's the noise that really attracts the geckos. And then it also works for, we have crested geckos as well. My dogs are barking, sorry about that. See, it works for crested geckos as well. I have one of my cresties that I give mealworms to like almost all the time. And I've never had a problem with the worms escaping and going into the substrate. So there you go, a DIY for a cheap mealworm bowl.